So today we are going to start with one more new concept, that is lambda. So now lambda comes under which category? Now tell me, this lambda, what is this lambda? Serverless computing service. It is a serverless computing service. So serverless computing service means here we are not going to deal anything with the servers, but still we can perform whatever the task we need. According to that we can perform, but we are not going to deal with the servers directly. So if you want to run an application in the server, you can run, but you're not going to use that, you're not going to launch or start or stop that instance or maintain the instance or deleting the instance. You're not going to do it manually. So how you're going to do means by using this lambda without using the actual AWS console. Okay. So even though if you listen serverless means without servers, right? So many people will think that there will be no servers. So no, servers will be there, but you're not going to manage it manually. So instead of that, what we'll do, we'll write a code for that and we will run. Okay. WhatsApp application. In WhatsApp application, so there is one feature called changing profile picture. Changing profile picture. Okay. So still have the feature, but every time will you use this feature changing profiling? So every day are you going to use this feature? So tell me guys, is in WhatsApp we have one feature that changing the profile picture. So even though we have that, every day are you going to do that? Can I get a response? No, right? We are not going to use that feature every day. So only few times whenever the user need, on that time he will try to change the profile picture. So for that, for changing this profile picture also, developer have written the code. So if it is running in the server, it will take more storage space, mostly frequently. But still, if we maintain that in the servers, we have to pay. We have to get more storage capacity. For that, we have to pay, right? So that's why what we did mean, to maintaining these type of things, we have launched one server separately, where we are going to run that server by using some code. So now for changing profile picture, this this code will be running in the server. So assume this is my server. So in that changing profile picture, changing profile picture code is there. So changing profile picture code is running in this particular server. So here, where the users are not going to use it daily, in the daily basis, they are not going to use that. So even though they are not using, if I run in the servers, for this server I need to pay, and that for storage capacity I need to pay. So for runtime I need to pay. Everything, for each and everything I need to pay if I'm running that application, which people are not going to use in daily basis. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just write a code. Just by running that code, it will start that server. If the user is trying to access that particular feature, then Lambda will trigger. Lambda will understand that people is trying to access this server. Then it will understand and it will start that server. After that, automatically it will stop that server. You're getting my point how Lambda will work. So that is known as serverless computing. Are you going to start or stop that instance manually? So usually what we have to do, we'll select that and we'll go to actions and we'll click on start or stop or terminate the instance, right? You're getting my point, guys. You're understanding what I'm trying to tell you? Yes. So like that, this will work. Serverless means just we are not going to interact with the servers directly. Still servers will be there, but we are not going to interact. So that is known as serverless computing. Okay. So and server in this lambda, we are not going to maintain or manage the servers. We will not maintain or manage the servers. Okay. So here we are not going to maintain and manage the servers. Then who will manage? So if we have created, if we are not managing, then who is going to manage this? So instead of that, we will write some code and we will run it. So instead, we will write a code and run it. Where with that code, we are going to manage the servers. And who is going to write this purpose is going to write the code. So we are not DevOps engineers is not. don't have that responsibility to writing the code. So the developers will only write the code and they will give it to the DevOps engineer according to the requirement. They are going to run with the instant IDs, whatever the servers they need to run or they need to manage, that link or ID they will give, according to that they are going to managing. Understood? So now code cloud providers is going to manage the servers. Cloud providers will manage the servers. Okay, so cloud providers means AWS, Azure we have, and GCP. So these are the some cloud providers. So if we run that cloud, they are going to manage our servers and the entire application as well. So this is about a quick introduction about Lambda. Understood? Now, if anyone asks what is mean by lambda, if you want to give a standardized definition, you can mix all those points. Like lambda comes under compute category. It is a serverless computing service and which will not maintain and manage the servers directly. So instead of that, what we are going to do, we are going to write the code and we are going to run it. And if we run that code, who is going to manage? AWS, the cloud providers, is going to manage that. Understood, right? So this is about a quick introduction on Lambda. So advantages of Lambda. So what are the advantages that we have? So the first advantage is no server management. No server management. Okay, no server management means, so since you're maintaining one server, okay, you are having one server and you are maintaining that, but are you going to manage that? So see, whenever the users is trying to access that feature, you will how will you understand that this particular feature is trying, this particular user is trying to access? You won't understand, right? So, where if you know whether if the user is trying to access also, what you will do, you have to go manually and you have to launch the server from that server where the user is going to access that particular feature. Now here the task is doing manually, but now we are going to overcome that. We are going to do it automatically by using Lambda. Understood? So now whenever the user is trying to access, the lambda will trigger and it will only launch the servers. It won't launch, sorry. It will only start the servers and it will only stop the servers, and if there is a requirement according to our code, it is going to terminate that instance as well. Okay, so one thing in the sense, it's completely, we can customize, it completely depends upon our requirement. We can scale up or scale down the resources according to our need. So when the users are increasing, we can increase the server capacity. When the users is not using, we can decrease, automatically we can decrease the server capacity, and it is flexible. Flexible in the sense it can be converted according to our needs. So my server should be run. Then I can run my server in that particular point of time. If I don't want to run that server, if I want to stop that, and I can do that, it is changing completely according to our requirement. Okay, so that is scalable and flexible. And one more thing, it is cost effective. So it is cost effective. See, since we are not using any servers, right? So we are stopping that server and we are starting whenever we have use of that. So it means for runtime we won't get any bill. You're understanding? For runtime of the servers we won't get any bill. So if you're not using Lambda, your code should be run in the server 24 by 7. Even though users are using once in a time. So for that, we have to use that server continuously, where it is going to charge more. But here we are going to use whenever we want. So it means the runtime, the storage capacity, everything will be decreased here. So that's why this is one kind of advantage that we have by using Lambda. You can reduce the cost. And one more thing, one more advantage that we have is faster management. Faster management. So it is going to start or stop that instance very fastly, where our task will be done in within fraction of seconds. So these are the advantages that we have by using Lambda. Understood, everyone? So what are the differences we have? So when it comes to EC2, you have to create and you have to manage the servers manually. It is the first thing, we have to create and manage the servers manually. So we have to create and we have to manage it manually. This is how you used to deal with the EC2, right? You will go, you will launch the instance. If you want to stop or start the or terminate the instance, you will go to actions and you will performing that task. So we have to do it manually everything. But when it comes to Lambda, no need of creating and managing the servers. Okay? No need of creating and managing the servers. So instead of, who is going to do that? Cloud provider will perform this action. Okay, instead of that, who is going to do that? Cloud provider is going to do this. Okay, and one more difference we have, that is for scaling you have to set up auto scaling group. Okay, so when you are dealing with EC2, if you want to scale up the resources automatically, then you have to use one more service called auto scaling group. So by using that auto scaling group, you're going to launch the new servers automatically. So for scaling the servers, you have to set up auto scaling group. So you have to set up auto scaling group. Okay. So but when it comes to Lambda, if you want to increase the server capacity, then so according to your request, it is going to launch the servers automatically. Automatically auto scales the resources based on request. So based on request, it is going to auto scale the resources. Okay. And one more difference we have, you have to pay for the running servers even though you are not using it. So once if you are launching the server, in that you are going to run that application, which in between if you are not going to stop it. Okay, so assume you are running a one real time application, are you going to stop your instance? No, right? You are not going to stop. It means your server should be run in the your application should be run in the servers 24 by 7, which means your servers are running 24 by 7. Even though application is not used by users, but still you are going to run that servers, for that which you have to pay. So you have to pay for the running servers even even if you are not using. Understood? But when it comes to Lambda, you will pay the computing time you use. You will pay the computing time you use. So it means how much time your code is running and how much time your application is accessible. For that much only you are going to pay. More than that, you are not going to pay anything. Where it will reduce the manual process and it will reduce the cost. So everything will be done. Understood? Understood about these differences, guys? Yes. So now we'll discuss Lambda pricing. So how they are going to charge for Lambda. So let me write here Lambda pricing. So how they are going to charge for this? So they are going to charge in two ways. Two ways we will get the bill for this lambda pricing. One thing is based upon the request per month. So how many lambdas we okay, so they, for that much they are going to generate the bill for you. So if you're running for 10 seconds, only for 10 seconds they are going to charge. If you're running for 1 hour, for that 1 hour they are going to charge. And automatically if you're not using, it will stop that instance. So based on what? One is, so let me write, based upon the request on month. Request per month. Based upon the request per month. And one more thing, based on GB second. Okay. So GB seconds is nothing but, so how much of time it is going to use, for that much we are going to pay. They are going to generate the bill. And here one more thing, in this based on GB seconds, for 4 lakhs of GB seconds it is free. For 4 lakhs of GB seconds of computing time is free for one account. Okay, so for if you create one account for based on this 4 lakhs GB seconds, it is free. If you used for 4 lakhs seconds, then it is free for you. So after that, if you're using Lambda, then they are going to charge for you. Understood? Understood, guys? So now, if the code was written, if you have written one code, one programming, one program you have written, this is one program. Okay, so this program is content of 100 MB. Okay, 100 MB. So now, if you run this code, so if it is take 10 seconds, so if this code take 10 seconds to run and to execute that, so now in this 4 lakhs GB seconds, 10 seconds is done. So now for same code you're running for 100 times, then 1 lakh seconds is done. So like that. So it's completely depends on the capacity of your program and also your runtime. Understood, guys? Understood, everyone? So if it is taking one program is containing of 100 MB. If it is take 10 seconds to do, now if I want to run 100 programs like that, 100 programs, so now how much time it will take? How many seconds? Definitely it will take 1 lakh seconds or 10,000 seconds. It's, yeah, 10,000 seconds it will take. So now in this 4 lakh 10,000 seconds is completed. Now remaining seconds we can use for freely. So now once our, after if you use after completing of this 4 lakh seconds, then if you're trying to run that program, they are going to charge for you. Understood? So this is about this lambda pricing and introduction of lambda and difference between the EC2 and lambda and the advantages. So this is about lambda, the theoretical concept. Now we'll do hands-on how to create a lambda and how it is going to trigger. And one more thing, how to execute that programs. And you don't worry about the programs. I will only give some set of programs is there. I will give and I'll share the PDF for you. Just copy paste that and use your instance ID there. Okay, anyway in the real time also developers is going to write that code. You're not going to deal anything with the code. You're just give the requirement, your requirement, where according to that requirement developers is going to write the code, and you're just using, you're executing that using lambda. So now I'll share my screen for you. I'll share my screen and I'll show you how to create and the programming, all the program also. Is my screen is visible, guys? Go to AWS and search for AWS. So here search for lambda. Okay, search for lambda, click on it. Yes. So if you click on lambda, you can see these many things like dashboard, application, and functions. So for that, for running of this lambda, you have to create one function. If you see here, it will ask for click on creating a function, because if you create a function then only it will trigger and it is going to start the instance. Okay, so I'll show you again. Here click on create function. Here you have three options: author from scratch, use a blueprint, and container image. This container image is a different when you are learning the Docker. This will be comes into the picture. So as of now, don't we are not going to learn this. And one more thing, using a blueprint. So using a blueprint, we'll call it as a canary function. So that you will learn after this author from scratch. Okay. So now first we'll start with author from scratch. Okay, just by running of a small example, that is hello world. Okay, so select author from scratch and give the function name. Any function you can give name, you can give any function. I'll give it as a function one. And here runtime, you have to select the programming language. If the code was written in Java, then you have to select Java, or either otherwise if the code was written in Python or Ruby or Node.js, so according to that you have to select your programming language. Now I have a program of I have a Python program, so I'm going to select this Python 3.13. Okay, so select that programming language and this architecture. So architecture is nothing but it's just a kind of instructions for our code to run. So how much capacity does our code should run? So just giving that in, instructions or a place to run. So now create function. So just you have a given, you have selected author from scratch, the function name and the programming language, and you have created the function. So once if you have created the function, it will look like this. So this is lambda, and this lambda is going to deal with your servers. Okay, see, you can see here, this is my lambda function. And if you have written any code, then first you have to test deploy that, and again you have to test that. Okay, so before writing any code, so you have to set some configurations here. So before setting any codes, you have to set some configuration, that is go for configuration. Here you can see 0 to 3 seconds, right? In permissions, go to permissions, in general configuration only. So edit, description is completely optional, and here there is a timeout, right? 3 seconds. So if you give, it is a runtime for your program. Okay, so how much time it should take to run your program? So here by default they have given 3, and you can give up to 10 seconds, so it will wait for 10 seconds to run that program. So now you have given the 10 seconds, and don't make any changes here. Let it be default. It is just a storage capacity of this function. Okay. Now you can see execution role. So whenever you are going to permissions to access other services, even though it is a Lambda service, but it is going to access EC2 service, right? For access EC2 service, it should have some set of permissions. For that, we have created a role. So whenever you create a Lambda, by automatically the role will be created. Okay, just you have to permissions. Okay, so now you have created the role, and then save the changes. You have saved the changes. So you can see already by default one hello program will be there. Hello from Lambda. If I execute this, first deploy this and test it. So here we have to create a new event. So create that event. Don't make any changes, just give the name. Event hyphen 1. So I'll save it. It have been saved. And then right. So I'll launch one instance. I'll launch as a demo. Select anything. Now I have launched the instance. See, it is running. Now go to Lambda function. Here, go to Files Explorer. We have so many scripts. I'll share you in QTalk. So just copy paste that. That's it. Copy this. Copy that and paste it. So now paste it. Why it is not taking? Yes. So here I have pasted the code which was written by the developers. Now here you can see import board 3 and region. It was just a function or a condition that they have written, and you can see it is asking for region, in which region your instance is present, and the instance id, on which instance id it is going to perform the action, and what are the actions that it is going to perform to stop the instance. Okay, so it is going to perform to stop that instance. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll go back to EC2. We'll see the region where it is present. I'm using this Frankfurt region, Euro Frankfurt, right? So this is the region. So copy this region. So copy this. in inside this region, paste it. Okay, so now again instance id. So for this instance id, go back to the instance and copy the id. So copy this id, so paste it here. Now we have pasted. See, now tell me what are the things that we have did. So first we created a lambda. We have given the runtime permissions, that is 10 seconds, and in again in the permissions for that role we have given EC2 permissions. So if any other services need to trying to access other services, then we have to give permissions, right? So we have given that permissions and we have pasted this code and we have changed the IDs and regions, and then we are going to deploy this. So now deployment is done. Now I'll test this code. So see, it is showing success. So it means my instance have been stopped. So now let's go back to the instance, we'll see. I'll refresh this once. See, it is stopping. Did I stop it? No, right? So how it is stopping? So through that instance, through that lambda. Okay. Now I'll go back here. I'll go to this and I'll try to execute one more instance. So copy this, copy this. For starting, one code will be there. For stopping the instance, another code will be there. For if it is stopping, then it should start automatically. If it is start, then it should stop automatically. For that also different type of code will be there. So paste it, and now I'll go back to the instance. I'll copy again region, copy this, and then go to regions, paste it, copy that ID. Okay, so now it's done. Deploy it. So if you have making any changes, then first you have to deploy and then test it. So it is success. So now go back to instance, refresh it once. It is running. So this is how, just by running the code, you're going to deal with the servers. Okay, so I'll terminate that. That's it. So now in Q, so what is that, Siddharth? Which topic? Execution? Siddharth, execution or what? Okay. So you want me to repeat the execution of the programs, right? Okay. So I'll share my screen. So now see, See, everyone are clear with the creating lambda and giving permissions, right? Creating lambda, giving permissions, everyone are clear with that, right? Okay. So where is that instance? You have terminated. So no problem. I'll launch one more instance. Demo. Launch the instance. So I have launched the instance. Now go back to the here. So now here the code have written to stop that in to start that instance. Now I'll I'll delete this. Now I'll go back. So I'll be having scripts, right? So I'll use that script. So I'll copy paste this. I'll copy paste this. And now this code is used to stop that instance. Now here beside this region you have to use your region which one you are using. So now I'm using this region, right? So I'll copy this, copy this, so I'll paste it here. Paste the region, and then it will ask for instance ID. Just you have to change the region and the instance ID. That's it. Okay. So don't make any changes apart from that. Just your region and instance ID. So go to Lambda and then paste your instance ID, and then make some changes, deploy this. See, my instance is in running state. Okay, now I'm not going to make any changes, and then I'll just run this. So you can see the output here. You can see the output. It have been successed. So if you go back to the instance, if you refresh this, then it stopped. So since I didn't deal anything with the actual AWS account, actual server, just by the running the code, I have doing all these actions. So now I'll show you how to delete this lambda. So go back once, just go back, select this function and delete it. That's it. So delete this. So using a blueprint, I'll show you, but before that you have to practice all the things. Okay. So now I'll share you some codes. Wait, once again. I'll share you the entire codes in QTalk. Now you have to create a function, you have to execute that programs. Okay. I'll show you four codes. Four codes you have to execute.